What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. We got some very rare, interesting news here just days before the election here. This comes as the U.S. Air Force has Black Hawk helicopters land in the Capitol to conduct emergency evacuation drills. That's right. This also comes here as there's major warnings of the election, security, and more. This comes as millions of people are already voting. I'm going to give you the details here of this and more in this video. Yeah, some big news here for you guys. I'm going to show you some footage here and more. Let's jump right in. We are live right now here on YouTube. Let me know if you can see and hear me in the chat. Type yes if you can. Also, let me know where you're tuning in from. We have people tuning in here from all around the globe. If you want to, type your city, your state, or even your country in the chat or the comment section. Also, thanks so much for hitting that like button and sharing this video with anybody that needs to hear this information. All right, take a look here. Oh, also don't forget to follow us on our new social platforms. We have Instagram, Twitter X, TikTok, and Facebook Live. Link for you down below in the description or the pinned comment. You can follow us on our new platforms. Yeah, our username on all of those platforms is It's Jimmy Show. Yeah, so take a look here. 12 helicopters land at the U.S. Capitol in a very rare night drill, or at least this is what they're calling it. Some people are suspicious that maybe it was something else, but this is what they're saying. The U.S. Air Force UH-1N Huey joined H-60 Blackhawks. The U.S. Air Force Huey mission included continuity of government airlift of emergency security and disaster response forces, emergency evacuation of key government officials. Yeah, so take a look at this. So they had literally 12 different Black Hawk helicopters and other helicopters land in the Capitol to apparently conduct emergency airlift and emergency response to remove government officials, just in case something happens just days before the election. And they're saying that this was just a drill. And a lot of people are like, wow, this is crazy here. And what's going on? What do they know that we don't know? What is going on? This is days before the election here. This comes here as, I'll bring this up here in a second. It's something like over 45 million votes have already been cast. And there's warnings here about what is going on and what could be coming here. And this is absolutely crazy. You guys can let me know your thoughts here in the comment section. And this comes here as the actual election day, the actual day, even though millions of people have voted here, election day is still yet to come. Yeah, quote, continuity of government exercises ahead of the most contentious election in modern day history. What are they anticipating exactly? Anyone else think they're planning something? This is some serious stuff going on here. Yeah, the U.S. Capitol Police say this evening, the United States Capitol Police and our federal partners are conducting a, quote, routine training exercise on the grounds of the U.S. Capitol. Please do not be alarmed if you see emergency vehicles and low-flying helicopters. But they called this an emergency training exercise on the other slot, a very rare night drill. An emergency evacuation of key government officials. So, quote, evacuation training under the guise of what? You guys can let me know your thoughts on this. This also comes here as more than 46 million votes have already been cast for Trump or Kamala Harris. You guys can let me know your thoughts on this. So some states, such as North Carolina and Georgia, have already reported that their early voter turnout is setting records of this election cycle. Wow. Wow. Early voting has accounted for roughly a quarter of the electorate votes. So potentially 25% or more of the votes are already in. Wow. So you guys can let me know your thoughts here on this. And are they practicing for another January 6th event, no matter who wins the election? Which is, yeah, that is a pretty scary thought here. Marjorie Taylor Greene says Capitol Police hold a casualty evacuation exercise at the Capitol with multiple helicopters last night. Trump told us to make it too big to rig, and we are on our way to making that happen as long as everyone votes for Trump. Well, of course, not everyone's going to vote for Trump, but we are in danger of losing the House with approximately 20 seats literally too close. Without the House, we cannot pass critical legislation to bring forward our MAGA agenda. This is what Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying. But also, if Democrats control the House, they will refuse to certify President Trump's election on January 6th. This is what she's saying. They've already said they won't certify. I don't know if they've said that, but this is what she's saying. Leading into the election, just in the past few months, Democrats are making big moves to secure the Capitol in January for certification on the 6th. Last night, Capitol Police conducted a casualty evacuation exercise on the East Front with multiple helicopters. This comes after the DoD, Department of Defense, signed off on military force to be used to assist police against the American people. Border Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas designated January 6th as a special security event through Homeland Security. Mayor Bowser of D.C. requesting security for the January 6th. An announcement of fencing to be erected January 5th through the 21st. While security is also important, Democrats are the party of riots, violence, and destruction. This is what she writes. If they lose, they don't care about securing anything. They nearly burned down Washington on Trump's inauguration. And I don't even know if I can say all this stuff here on YouTube. But they are ramping up mass security for Capitol because they are planning to maintain control of the Capitol by winning the House. Trump's momentum is too big to stop, and we are watching the polls stopping the steal for Trump, but we are not doing the same thing for critical House races. If Trump wins the White House, Republicans win the Senate, but we lose the House, Democrats will build a fortress of resistance in the House. She goes on here to say a lot here. You guys can let me know your thoughts here on all this. That was the Republican point of view. 74% of U.S. adults worry that the 2024 election results could lead to violence, according to a recent survey. About 3/4 of U.S. adults surveyed by the American Psychological Association said the future of the nation was a significant source of stress in their lives, and it seems to be getting worse each election cycle. Wow. This comes here as Washington, D.C. law enforcement officials prepare for possible post-election violence in Washington, D.C. You can see it here. This is from the Washington State Standard. The 2,000 plus officers who make up the U.S. Capitol Police, as well as other federal law enforcement agencies like the Secret Service, have responded to a surge in threats against elected officials during the last few years, including 2 assassination attempts against Republican president candidate Donald Trump just this year. As we know, there was actually a few more than that were thwarted. So, yeah, but the threats. and others have led to questions about whether the two agencies are truly prepared for the presidential transition, because Joe Biden won't be there anymore. So there will be at least some transition to either Kamala Harris or former President Donald Trump, Vice President Harris or Trump, especially after the report released this week said the Secret Service, quote, requires fundamental reform to carry out its mission. The agency is tasked with a planning and coordinated security for Congress's certification of the Electoral College on January 6th, the first time it's been designated a national special security event and inauguration day on January 20th of 2025. Quote, unfortunately, you can never have 100% security, said Jabed Ali, Associate Professor of Practice at the Gerald R. Ford School of Public Policy at the University of Michigan. Quote, it's nice to think that would exist, but if you're trying to consider all the different kind of variables that you have to plan for, there's always going to be a gap or vulnerability. Now, what you have to do is kind of minimize the big one and hope that the small ones don't get exploited. And U.S. intelligence is warning that extremists inspired by conspiracy theorists, pose major threats to the 2024 elections. Candidates, elected officials, election workers, members of the media, and judges involved in election cases are among those U.S. intelligence officials identified as targets, according to U.S. intelligence, and comes with a major warning. U.S. intelligence agencies have identified domestic extremists with grievances rooted in the election-related conspiracy theories, including beliefs in widespread voter fraud and animosity toward perceived political opponents, as the most likely threat of violence in the coming election. In a joint intelligence bulletin that was not distributed publicly but was reviewed by NBC News, agents of the FBI and Department of Homeland Security warned state and local law enforcement agencies that domestic violence extremists seeking to terrorize and disrupt the vote are a threat to the election and throughout the inauguration day. So this comes here as 25% of the votes have already been cast, and they're doing major evacuation drills at the U.S. Capitol with Black Hawk helicopters. Was it a drill or did something actually happen? You guys can let me know your thoughts here in the comment section. I will keep you up to date. Don't forget to like this video, share this video with anybody that needs to hear this information. Follow us on our other social platforms with the link down below. The Fed's major decision could sway the vote here in this video. Watch that video next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.